Deputy Chief Charles Hampton Jr., Hampton. Good afternoon. First, again, I would like to offer my condolences to the families of the victims of this tragic incident. March 16th, a total of 8 innocent lives were violently taken by the hands of one lone killer. The Atlanta Police Department continues to offer our support to the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. We've been in contact via Chief Bryant with many of the civic leaders of these communities. As you all know, there was definitely a joint operation that led into the swift apprehension of the suspect. Within 3 hours of our last homicide, this individual was captured. And it could not have been done without the efforts of our state and federal partners. As a result of that, though, we still have an investigation that is still ongoing. Our investigation is separate from the Cherokee County's investigation. Our investigation is slightly different. We had 4 Asian females that were killed. And so we are looking at everything to make sure that we discover and determine what the motive of our homicides were. So it's just very important to let you know that we are not done. In most cases of homicides, we don't have a quick apprehension. There's usually a lengthy investigation, especially when there's involving multiple victims. And so, again, we're still working very diligently and to ascertain all the facts so we can have a successful prosecution, because that's what's most important now. I was hoping that we would be able to release the names of the victims, but we are not able to do that this time. And the reason is we need to make sure that we have a true verification of their identities, and then that we make the proper next of kin notification. And so again, I thought we were going to be able to do that, and out of respect of the lives and of the family, we want to make sure that we do that privately before we release the names of our victim publicly. Again, we can have a couple of questions, but again, it's very important that everyone knows that our investigation has not concluded and is still ongoing.
So, is the investigation into a possible hate crime, is that still on the table?
Our investigation is looking at everything, so nothing is off the table for our investigation.
We got a lot of reaction yesterday after Cherokee investigators said that right now they don't think it's a hate crime, and that this suspect had a bad day and said some things about sexual addiction. And some people criticized that for them saying it so early and for what he said. I know you cannot speak for the people who said that, but what is APD's position on that?
I don't have a position. Like I said, I'm only going to comment about our investigation. And again, we're not prepared to talk a lot about what has been said because, again, we're not trying to try the case in public. This is, again, it's a tragic. And again, we try to remember that 8 families are impacted by this. And we wouldn't be doing justice by putting a lot of this information out in the public, and especially if, in our cases, where the next of kin has not been notified. So I know it's tough. I know there are a lot of questions that want to be answered. But again, we just ask that you just respect the families that are still mourning, and some who may not even know yet. And so that's the real key part of for our victims, that our victims' next of kin have not been officially notified.
Do you anticipate being able to identify the victims tonight, having reached all of the family members?
I'm sorry?
Do you anticipate being able to release the identity?
As soon as we verify and make those notifications, we're working with the Consular Office of the Republic of Korea also to make that verification. But as soon as we are 100% sure and notifications have been made, we will definitely release those
So
names.
that'll likely go beyond today.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And is that the main thing, because they're in a different country, they're from a different country, that's the main holdup?
That creates part of the delay, yes.
Is there any indication that the suspect had been to those spas before?
I'm sorry?
Is there any indication the suspect had visited those spas previously?
Right now, early in our investigation, it appears that he may have frequented those locations, yes.
Both of them,
Yes,
frequently.
yes.
And that's what I was gonna ask you, is there anything more about the suspect? Did he have encounters at those locations, or with any of the victims that you know?
Not right now, I can't be able to answer that.
But you believe he had been physically at both of those?
I can say that he had frequented both of those locations, yes.
Are you able to say that he targeted the specific individuals that he actually shot and killed?
I would not say that. Again, I would just say that unfortunately they were at that location. I can't say that he specifically targeted those individuals. But you know, what I will say is that he did frequent, as the question keeps coming up, that he did frequent those two locations within Atlanta.
And is it also, is part of the problem in identifying the victims, do they not have any family members in the United States, or all the family members overseas in Korea?
I'm not saying that. It's, again, we just want to make sure that we do our due diligence of that. Some family may reside stateside, some may be even here in the Atlanta area. But again, we want to make sure that we do our due diligence to make sure that the identification of the victims have been handled
Have
first.
you ever been called to that locations before?
I'm sorry?
Have police ever been called to those
Again, I think that was addressed last week. I mean, we've had we've had some incidents there, calls there. But again, that's not why we're here, so.
Any word on how the suspect got his hands on the gun, the 9mm gun, considering his reportedly mental illness?
I'm not sure about any mental illness. All we do know is that he did purchase the gun the day of the incident.
Thank you.